Straight ahead on 27 First News at 6.
It's now illegal to text while behind the wheel in Ohio. We'll break down the Buckeye State's new law.
Also, Vice President Biden talks to auto workers in Lordstown. We'll tell you what his message was all about.
And I'm Jerry Ricciuti. A little something extra to see at the Canfield Fair today as the Vice President makes a stop there as well. I'll have that story coming up as 27 First News at 6 begins now.
Dave Sess and Teresa Weekly on WKBN 27 First News, where your news comes first in high definition.
Good evening. Thanks so much for watching. Election Day is just about 2 months away.
And the campaigns have been in full swing for months. Today, Vice President Joe Biden spent time crisscrossing the area.
Now, he kicked it all off with a speech to auto workers in Lordstown. We begin our team coverage with Jeff Lefkowitz.
What an honor and pleasure for me to introduce our Vice President of the United States of America, Joe Biden.
The Vice President used the United Auto Workers Union Hall as a backdrop for today's event. After greeting the crowd, Biden said it reminded him of home.
As the son of an automobile man, this makes me feel good.
Biden immediately began to tout the Obama administration's bailout of the auto industry.
But for the sacrifices you all made and the courage of the President of the United States, all those GM plants would be closed. Here, all across the country. 200,000 auto workers who've been added to the rolls since reorganization would not be working. We would have lost 1 million jobs.
Biden then began to chop away at Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan, criticizing Romney for opposing the rescue plan.
You know, he's absolutely against the federal government or any government using funds to save jobs and save industries. That's not his view of the free enterprise way. He says it's bad for business, except when it comes to his business.
He then told the crowd Paul Ryan needs to brush up on his homework regarding a closed GM plant in his hometown. He says it didn't happen under Obama's watch like he claims. Biden says it's time to leave the policies of the past in the past and move forward to rebuild the country.
What they didn't tell you, it's not the Bain wave. Not in Mexico, not in China, not in Vietnam, but in Lordstown, Detroit, Toledo, Cleveland. Made in America. Made in America.
In Lordstown, Jeff Lefkowitz, 27 First News.
That wasn't the Vice President's only stop today. He left Lordstown and the motorcade headed to the Mocha House in Warren.
From there, it was off to one of the biggest events in this area every year, the Canfield Fair. Pretty unprecedented. Jerry Ricciuti joins us now in the studio with more. Jerry?
Teresa and Dave, although we started hearing the Vice President would be spending more of his day in this area than just that stop in Lordstown, we didn't know for sure until this morning. And many of those at the fair today had no idea at all until they saw him, Joe Biden, walking up to them. Dressed in shirt sleeves and sunglasses, the Vice President and his entourage strolled through the midway near the grandstand at the fairgrounds. He made a point to stop along the way frequently to shake hands and have his picture taken.
Got it? Great. Nice.
Once fairgoers realized he was there, a crowd quickly came together, following Mr. Biden over to the Democratic Party tent where he could meet and greet the party faithful, as well as over to a nearby food stand where he ordered some fried cheese. The visit caught many completely by surprise.
That they would stop spontaneously and do this, you know, I mean, what a security risk. What, you know, it's just incredible. And Joe Biden, a man of the people, you know.
With the visit coming right on the heels of the Republican convention in Florida, those who had a chance to meet with him briefly understood how important impromptu events like this can be.
It shows you he wants to get in touch with the public. He comes to where the public's at, the fair's here, he's here, the people are here. That's where he should be. These are the people that are going to vote for him.
For some, the visit reinforced their support for the Obama-Biden team heading into November.
Like instead of a canned speech or anything like that, it's just getting out there and talking to people, relating to them, and see what people are up against. Yeah.
But for many who waited patiently for the chance to see the Vice President up close, like Raydon Barnett and her daughter, who took turns snapping cell phone pictures, this was a truly unique experience.
I think it's great. I think it's really special that he came here. I don't ever think I'll ever see it again in my lifetime.
And tonight, thanks to cell phone cameras like the one Raydon had with her daughter, hundreds of people have proof of who they got to see at this year's fair. Dave?
All right, ranks right up there with Bob Hope and Bill Cosby. Jerry, thanks. Not far from the Union Hall where Joe Biden spoke this morning, members of the Romney campaign were camped out. Our camera spotted the bus about a half-mile from local 1714, parked near a railroad crossing. Now, the Republican National Committee says in response to Biden's visit that Obama hasn't offered solutions to the challenges facing Ohio. Those on the Romney bus said they simply want to respond to claims made on the campaign trail.
Certainly Ohio is frequently traveled terrain for the president and the vice president. We like to take the opportunity to help set the record straight on a lot of the empty rhetoric and the bloviations that have come to define their campaign here in the state of Ohio.
And last night, Mitt Romney accepted the Republican nomination for president at the Republican National Convention.
You've already seen them over and over again, political campaign ads. Some people think it's too much. Roxanne Seabest has more on that.
Political campaigns are no longer defined by candidates simply mingling with the people. They are now also controlled by numerous outside forces like special interest groups and super PACs. And that often means a barrage of phone calls and television commercials leading up to Election Day. But is it all too much?
I would like some time to think on my own without being constantly asked questions.
Some fairgoers in Canfield say this tactic has turned them off to both political parties.
I'd like there to be on the ballot a little spot that you can check off that says go back and try again, because these people are not the people I want running the country.
Others say there's too much information out there. You don't know who to believe.
And as I told you, I'm glad I have a mute on my remote. I turn a lot of it off.
Some believe, though, it's all a huge waste of money, because at the end of the day, they're only trusting one person's opinion, their own.
I already did it myself. No ad ever has made up my mind. None. Zero.
I'm going to vote for who I want to vote for. They're not influencing me.
In Canfield, Roxanne Seabest, 27 First News.
A federal judge in Ohio today ruled in favor of Democrats and President Obama's campaign, restoring early voting in the 3 days before the election. Democrats are suing the state's election chief over the legality of the law that prohibited it, saying that everyone should have a chance to vote on those 3 days. Ohio Attorney General Mike DeWine says he is going to appeal that ruling.
Played golf at Avalon Lakes this morning. Man, was it beautiful out there.
Weren't you a little hot?
We started at 7 a.m., so it was a little cool then, but it got warm quick.
Yeah, it was 92 degrees last time I talked to Don. 91 degrees now, so not a lot has changed, Don. Certainly a hot one out there.
It is indeed, and even the humidity a bit more noticeable than I thought it was going to be today. Officially touched 90 up at the airport. That'll go into the record books on this 31st day of August. Let's pick it up this morning with time-lapse picking it up at 7:30 with actually pretty much looks the same today as it did yesterday. Not a cloud in sight except for some high thin clouds. Well, we'll begin to see more clouds as the evening and overnight wears on. The remnants, the clouds at least, courtesy of the remnants of Isaac on the way. There's a look downtown at this hour, looking very, very nice. Tell you what happens for the weekend and beyond in just a few minutes.
A lot of kids are getting ready to sweat it out on the field tonight for week 2 of high school football. Of the rivalries, there's one big matchup happening over at Stambaugh Stadium. Mooney will host Boardman, and that's where Christy Branham joins us live. Christy?
Hi, Teresa. Well, the nickname for Stambaugh Stadium is the Ice Castle, but it's certainly very far from that tonight. As Don just said, take a look at this. We are standing in the shade, and it is 90 degrees right now on the field. So certainly a scorcher out here for these players. But hey, it's a hot game tonight, too. It's a hot matchup as Mooney does host Boardman, two old Steel Valley Conference rivals meeting up for the 4th straight season. Now, Mooney has won all 3 of these previous meetings, but last year it was only by a touchdown that Mooney won. But Cardinals come into this game at 0-1. Boardman, on the other hand, they're 1-0, coming off a huge win over Benedictine. And we cross the border tonight, too. We head into Western Pennsylvania as they kick off the football season for week 1. Jarrett Samuels returns to the sidelines for the Steelers just in time for the annual Steel Bowl against Sharon. The Steelers also riding a 3-game winning streak. So like you said, a lot of rivalries tonight in this one. And we also have a big one as our game of the week as Howland hosts Harding. Ryan Allison will have more on that coming up in sports. For now, live from Stan Boss Stadium, I'm Christy Branham. Dave and Teresa, back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Christy. Here's what we have coming up next. Texting from behind the wheel in Ohio is now against the law. We'll ask some people what they think about this new ban.
The Browns make a surprise move in their final cuts. That story later in sports.
Here's a look at your Farmers National Bank Stock Report from 27 First News. Stay tuned. No more texting and driving in Ohio.
Yeah, a new law banning that practice took effect today. Julie Bursick has more on what it means for drivers.
Teen drivers Rebecca Pritchard and Ashley Zizzo add their names to this banner.
I signed a promise to keep safe while driving.
That means not texting from behind the wheel. Ohio's texting while driving ban goes into effect today. It covers all drivers, but the penalty for juvenile drivers is more severe, a primary offense.
Law enforcement would be able to stop any type of juvenile offender for using a cell phone of any means, whether it be any type of electronic device, whether they're using it for texting or whether they're using it as a cell phone.
These teen drivers say they didn't know about the law, but think it's a good idea.
Not only do I care about the safety of me, I care about keeping others safe, and I wouldn't want to be responsible for hurting someone's family member.
You know, I want to live for a while, and I think that not buckling up and texting for sure is so dangerous and it's terrifying.
Law enforcement is treating the next 6 months as a warning period. No tickets will be given. Mahoning Safe Communities is helping spread the message by setting up shop at the Canfield Fair.
Just keep the phone down in their purse, in their pocket. Don't text while they're driving.
It's a message law enforcement wants all drivers to follow. For drivers 18 and older found in violation, the law states it has to be a secondary offense, meaning you can't be pulled over for using your phone.
They have to have another reason or another infraction that was committed, such as speeding or some type of a violation that would cause them to stop an individual.
Rebecca and Ashley are proud they added their names to this promise banner and hope their peers will do the same. In Canfield, Julie Bursick, 27 First News.
The Mahoning County Sheriff's Department has released the video showing an incident between a deputy and jail inmate. Now, the video shows Duniac Christian go for the door. Then Deputy William Horn appears to strike Christian several times. Now, Christian filed a claim that he was assaulted and injured. Sheriff Randall Wellington put Deputies Horn and Kip Danks on paid leave while there's an investigation. Their union's disappointed that the video was released while the probe continues.
If you like wine, you'll like to hear this. There's a brand new winery in this area. Halliday's Winery, now open on Lake Milton. Ron and Mike Burchak, owners of the Old Dutch Mill Golf Course, decided to expand their business, and they are offering 6 new wines produced by the DeBon Winery near Ashtabula. The Burchaks say what really sets them apart is their focus on the history of Lake Milton. They even named the winery after the town's founder, Jesse Halliday.
The history is neat, and hopefully you have an opportunity to look at the tables here, but we have 18 tables, all unique historical designs. We have actual photos from the history of Lake Milton embedded into the tabletops.
The winery will host its official grand opening next weekend.
It's a holiday weekend this weekend, plenty of sunshine right now, but what's the remnants of Isaac going to do and how will it affect us? Don has those answers next.